Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm sure we have all found new pastimes and hobbies during quarantine. Instead of doing the OnlyFans route, I instead invested in a different area of photography. I purchased my first medium format camera. And while there are many Hasselblads out there to choose from, I decided to get the Kodak Duex. This is a small pin box camera that Kodak manufactured from 1940 to 1942. I decided that I wanted to get a vintage camera just to get a better understanding of photography and how it was used 80 years ago. So my concerns about getting a camera that's so old is whether the shutter was still timed right, the lens quality, any fungus or anything that's obstructing the lens, and also just if the camera was still light proof. This camera has two shutter speeds, 1/30th of a second and also bulb. If you are shooting in bulb, you do have to hold the shutter down for the duration of your shot. The lens is roughly a 35mm full frame equivalent. I could not find anything on this online, just from shooting it, that's what it felt like. And the lens is at a fixed aperture at f11 and also fixed focus. Since it is at f11, it is from 2 meters to infinity. If you are paying attention to the Sunny 16 rule, your ISO should be at 25. I did shoot on T-Max 100, so as you can assume, the shots were overexposed. I found this camera slightly confusing to load your film in. On the bottom you have this little latch, and you just swing that to open, and then the back slides out of here. Then you take your roll of 620 film. I have Portra 160 here. You peel off any stickers or anything that's holding that film. You pull out this little tab, and then on the right side of the camera, you're just gonna stick this spool in, and then you're just gonna pull your film across the back of the camera and stick this little tab in the slot on the other end, just like any film camera. And then just make sure that you have your film on this other spool. Then you can slide the back of your camera on, make sure it's an open and it's closed all the way, and then you can swing this over to lock and just make sure that the back's on. And then you're just going to roll your film until you see number 1 in this little red circle. This camera shoots 620 film, which is no longer produced. You can buy 120 film and re-spool it onto a 620 spool, and it works in these cameras. I took this camera shooting in downtown Denver as well as Vail on a recent trip to Colorado. As you can see, these aren't the sharpest images. I blame that both on the lens and also the 1/30th of a second exposure. The shutter on this camera isn't very easy to use. With an easy contrast adjustment to Lightroom, you are able to get true black and true white in these images. For some reason, when these images were scanned, they were scanned in color and do have a sepia tone to them. This camera does take 6 sting exposures on a 620 roll of film. I only got 12 scans back from the darkroom. I believe that is because the other 4 were completely underexposed. My final thoughts on this camera is that it was fun to use and it did provide some creative challenges. Would I recommend this camera for you to shoot your next wedding or Nat Geo spread? No, I would not, but I do think that there are people out there who would appreciate this camera and would learn a lot from it, and it's a great experience to shoot medium format film.